Rob Shepherd.
He is a monster. Hello, Masters champion. Hello, Iron Gauntlet champion.
World champion.
Hello, guy who didn't win any games on the weekend.
Hello, nobody.
Hello, guy who came second. Hello, Doge's Breakfast fans. James Morehouse, winner of the Masters. We are going home from Seattle today, but we're having breakfast with these two gentlemen. Jay Larson, the Iron Gauntlet World Champion, and Scott Ray, also noted for many achievements, such as using my list on the Twitch TV stream, and winning the Intermountain Cup about 12 years ago, and not much else. But he's a good man. We love him. Have you had a good weekend, you guys? Scott?
I kept it pretty low key. No super drunk.
No shenanigans.
Pages.
What's wrong with you, mate?
We went past the place where you killed a stripper.
Yeah. I'm not sure that Jay would bail me out a second time.
Did he actually?
That's awesome.
I was actually given strict instructions not
to assist.
Who by?
Who do you think?
Brian.
To Matrix.
What does your mum think about this sort of behaviour, Scott?
What does my mom think about this?
Because
sort of
I saw a picture of you three guys, and everyone was bagging you because you look like a criminal, and your mum said, "He doesn't. He looks lovely.
He's the sweetest boy.
He's the sweetest boy."
So it's kind of weird. I think my mom,
Yeah.
I think they just compartmentalize it. Like, all my con shenanigans is in a box over here.
What I think Scott's trying to say politely,
that's a character that I play. That's not their son.
Is that his mum's completely oblivious to shenanigans.
Many of the shenanigans.
Did you have a good weekend, Jay? Hard to say that you didn't, isn't it?
It was okay.
It was okay.
Indeed.
Indeed.
I'd give it a B+.
Excellent. Excellent. Let's rate the cast.
No, so in true Reigns Creek fashion, I'd probably give it a C+.
See?
We could do better. Could have fourth and first. Could have
Excellent.
First.
Yeah,
Not an A+
first.
yet. B+, maybe A-.
Indeed.
Can you talk me up to an A-, Trent?
Indeed. No.
Trent Ball.
Very, very impressed with how you went this weekend, buddy. And you also came fourth in the Masters as well.
Massive.
So that is a
Big D.
That is a rock solid performance, my friend. Well done. And Moops, hashtag Moops Magic.
Would have liked to go on a bit better in IG.
Yeah.
But made the right calls, and the 2 games I lost, I felt unlucky about.
We're going to do a full debrief of our experience,
It
but
was awesome weekend.
yeah.
I'm sad we can't stay for another week or 2.
yeah, or forever. We should just be like, we should get a War Machine card, like a PGA card, that just lets you entry in every tournament, and you just jet set around America and play tournaments all across the country.
Yeah, and if I could get paid to do that as a career, I mean, never going to happen.
Never going to happen. Anyway, we're going to say goodbye to these guys now. See you, Scott.
See ya.
See you, Jay. It's been great. You guys are awesome. You going to say goodbye to them, James? Or
No.
You hate them?
Fuck you too.
Indeed. Indeed. Hello, everyone. I'm here in the Disney store with hashtag Moves Magic and Scott Ray from Chain Attack.
Hashtag Scoopface Ray.
Hashtag Scoopface Ray. And we're buying some presents for our beloved girlfriends who have been sorely neglected this last week as we've been nerding it up to the maximum level. James is going to go, oh my god, what is happening with that woman's arm? That is not good. The girl serving in Canada, look at her arm, mate. I'm going to zoom in on that arm because there's about 4 of them all packed in one area. What is happening there? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, not good. Anyway, we did a bit of Frozen singing this weekend. We sung a few songs from Frozen because it was, I don't know why actually, but I was singing Frozen all weekend. Here's some cool Frozen shit. I love it. Elsa, all that shit. And yeah, this is Disney Store. Cool place. Cool place, eh? If you're 12.
Believe it or not, I'm not much of a mall guy.
No, neither are we. James and I are here at the Bellevue Mall, which is a really cool place. But we're just waiting for J-Law to turn up because she promised me that she'd be here on Twitter.
And she hasn't got long left.
She's not got long. She somewhere along the way, there's been a miscommunication. We were supposed to meet up, get married, and just live happily ever after. But somewhere along the way, some error has occurred, and she hasn't turned up.
Look, I mean, if she sent someone in place of her, like Scarlett maybe?
ScarJo or Miranda Kerr, but honestly, like J-Law, get your shit together, love. You know, like you've only got like 4 more hours before we get on a plane. So, please. Oh, Lego store. Let's go to the Lego store. Cool. Lego.
He's more of a celebrity.
He's a celebrity as well. This guy from Chain Attack podcast.
I'm just getting back in. So like after I stopped working for Privateer, there was kind of like a period of like, right, War Machine. Yeah.
James and I and Scott have just walked into the Lego store, and James has been recognised for playing on the stream because the guy who works at the Lego store has watched the stream. We are fucking War Machine celebrities. This guy.
That's funny.
We're gonna get a photo. I just want to take some footage of this stuff. Look at this. This is fucking cool. From Star Wars. The Tower of Sauron. And we got, I don't know what that is. Oh, that thing over there, the Sydney Opera House. Then there's the Lego guy. That's awesome. I'm just gonna see what's down the bottom here. Oh, fucking sick pirate ships. Oh, that's from the Lego movie, yes. Metal beard. This couch. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team. Everything is awesome.
Was he going against Vlad or going against?
It was Peace Gar. I might not have won the whole thing, but I didn't come close to losing a game for the rest of it, so.
So what's the format?
I'm gonna use this one.
So we have a guy, you know the guy who won Half-Court? Brian Egger,
Yeah.
his name is, with the tats. So we have a guy back home called Dale. What we all call it? Doyle. He lifts like a motherfucker. He's done a degree in photography. He paints like very minute, he painted galaxies on the shoulder pads of his retribution jacks.
Okay.
Okay, and he looks like Brian. Brian Egger probably has him covered.
Yeah, Brian's bigger than him by a
Brian's
mile.
bigger than him.
He was a monster. I got footage of him going like this, Doyle, and had Simon on his shoulder.
Did you see the intro to RG video? There's a video of Trent.
Yeah.
Oh, that, yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's
sorry.
awesome.
Anyway, so the end of my story, he said, "Can you please take a photo with JVM for me, so I can do something?" And he photoshopped him into himself.
This is great photography here. This is great stuff. Doyle. Van
Swole Legion, Double the Dragon, coming soon.
he's a few cakes short of a whole box, that guy. Doyle. What a good kid. G'day everyone. It's I'm going to tell you the exact time.
It's 2:30.
It's 2:30. 2:30 on the dot. And we are here at the Western Bellevue, and we are about to get in a cab and head to the airport and finish our trip.
Who's this guy?
It's
I would unlike the last 3 videos. I guess people won't
Scoop face
necessarily
Ray.
watch them in order.
True.
Scoop Face Ray's been following us around like a lost puppy
These
today.
guys are stuck with me because I'm staying here for a bit longer, and they're the only ones who are still kicking
and he's
around.
got no friends.
So we walk into a shop in Seattle, and the guys recognise not the chain tag guys.
I've got it on footage. I've got it on footage. We walk into the Lego store, and this guy comes up to us and goes, "Oh man, I watched you on the stream yesterday. It was fucking awesome. We went for a topic. It was so cool." And we were like,
It's like
we are
saying,
fucking War Machine celebrities, and he recognised Wally and Simon. It was just.
I saw that wombat.
I saw the wombat, man. It was fucking awesome.
Why did you boost on the second? Well, this is exactly what.
Yeah, okay, man. That's why I'm a shit player.
No, he was awesome.
He might be a good player. He reckons he was good in Mark 1. Yeah, my mum could have been good in Mark 1, mate.
He also reckons he play tested for the company. That might be true.
It might be.
Sounded true.
He was a nice guy. I liked him.
I hope he watches this and now hates us.
No, he hates me. He'll hate me. You've been
This
dead defending him.
guy's just talk shit on me in the video.
Don't worry, mate. Watch the preceding 42 episodes. You'll see that's all I do is talk shit.
So in half an hour begins the
Return journey.
23-hour-ish trip back to Brisbane.
It's going to be an experience. And for you, the 30-something hour trip back to Canberra.
+6 +2, yeah. 31.
But we thought we would take this time to reflect upon the weekend. And Scott can chime in whenever he wants.
Are you looking for me?
No, not really.
This is your guys' show.
Yeah, you're right. It's just good having you here, man. You're a cool guy.
Yeah, it's cool hanging out with you guys.
Yeah. We started this conversation, this whole thing, in January, the day after CanCon. We sort of said, "Do you reckon this is going to happen?" And I don't think that either of us expected
Initial impressions were definitely
then that we would be here reflecting on you winning the Lock and Load Masters and me coming second at the Iron Gauntlet. I don't think that would have been in our minds.
Well, I think the thing we were thinking of initially is just whether we're even getting a chance of making it. And after thinking about the WTC, the fact that it's financially totally unviable.
Yeah.
It's definitely no. But and now that we're here, first in Masters, second in IG, I think we've done Australia proud. Speaking of IG, I can just say, I think I came 8th or 9th.
Yeah.
I went 2-2.
That's respectable.
Yeah, close. But all those games, at the same time, I reckon I could have gone 4-0, I reckon I could have gone 0-4.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of it comes down to the day, because those games, so tough. Anyone in the, maybe not anyone, 12 people, if any one of the 12 people in IG won it, and you told me they won IG, I wouldn't be surprised.
Except for Tom Guan. If Tom Guan won, I would have had a heart attack. That guy can't play for shit, no. I love him. I was sledging him on stage. We got that on film. We get up there, and he goes, "These are the best players in the world." Will Hungerford on the mic. "These are the best players in the world," and I said, "Yeah, and Tom Guan." Will Hunger was like, "I've got to say it," and Tom Guan. It was awesome.
That's Australian. That's Australian.
That's an Australian presentation ceremony. So looking back 4 months ago, what would you change in the lead up?
I would have started practicing from day one.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm saying, I was talking to these guys before about it. Not Scott actually, but the timing of how long you can play a list and how long you get better with it, and you start to peak and then start to hate your life and get shit with it.
Yeah, because
it's really
you're
crucial.
depressed about playing
Look at
it.
the camera detecting that there's a face on Scott's.
Yeah,
shirt.
it's the Strider face.
Strider face.
Do I need to hide it so it doesn't?
Oh, get that out.
But the timing of burning out on a list is pretty crucial, and
Yeah.
I just realised this couch has actually got plugs in the side of it. That's awesome. How cool is that? You can plug in your shit. Miracle.
America. Don't talk to people. Just get on your devices.
I felt like, positionally, I had a few things I could have improved on. Positionally, I was not playing as well as I had hoped that I would. And to me, that feels like rustiness with the list. Feels like I could have done better.
But it takes you a while to get to the list, especially for a two faction format.
There's a lot of things to be said about practicing one list over and over and over again, but without being able to distill what you actually wanted to play. Like, I was playing a lot of games in the lead up, even before we actually started, but I was playing with other casters and stuff. I don't know, like, fundamentally, you still got to enjoy what you're doing. And if I was to spend 6 months playing Vlad and just Vlad,
You'd probably hate yourself.
well, I don't know that I would have enjoyed myself.
Would you get into the rhythm of just
I
doing
don't know.
certain things and not being creative?
Because then the same thing, like I played that Scar list and I've played that for 2 years and I could keep playing that list. Like that's such a fun list to play because it just fucking hoses guys, right?
And it's I was saying to Trent, Dark Guidance and her feet is all she needs. And maybe Sack Strike occasionally.
Throw in Sack Strike.
That's all she needs, and she's an
But
A caster. It's
I've
the extra
cast-
things like Sack Strike and Ritual Sacrifice that take it to A+.
Yeah, it's just a strong list.
And so when you're designing list for and all these different elements, and when you got around to the Kraken, that's a bit of a leap in terms of list design and what you can do with it.
It's definitely something that you saw. I've seen a little bit of playing her with the huge bases.
Yeah.
Kraken or some combination of Wraith engines.
Yeah, we got one guy playing double Wraith.
Yeah, when they first came out, but I mean a lot of the upper Crix players, here stateside are all about 30 dude. They
Can't get off dude spam.
They can't get off the dude
But
spam.
it's such a one-dimensional thing.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it's like, okay, dudes, I need lots of attacks.
I mean,
instead
Scar's only got one feet turn, hasn't she? Like, the rest of the time you just run around with dude spam that Signar Power 10s will just go pew, 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 pew. You lose 20 guys, okay? You run forward your 5 inches that you can go because you're fucking Bane Knights and 10 inches or whatever.
Or you're playing P. Haley.
Or you're playing P. Haley and you just get hosed. Because my list against P. Haley, I'd rate myself a champ.
Yeah.
What's she going to do about the Kraken?
So do you think that, going back to your original point then, it was essentially February, March, April, May, June? 4 months worth of playing that we started possibly a little bit too late.
I agree.
And then it takes 2 to 3 months. Like you were playing Butcher 3 phases.
I for a long time thought it was going to be Butcher 3 for me in the final, but It just
Vlad came
wasn't
through.
gelling for me, the way that Vlad does.
Maybe you need more than that. I think you need maybe 8 months to
Yeah.
prepare for an event.
If I could go back now, I would say, okay, I've won this tournament. I'm definitely going to play my favourite list of all time, P-Scar. My favourite Coda list at the moment is Vlad 3. I'm going to play those 2 lists from now until then and just refine tiny tweaks and then just go. And I think I probably would have won the whole thing. Because I beat Jake Van Meter, who's a fairly noted Legion player, and I beat him 5 control points to 3, but he was not really in the game. I beat Colin Hill, who has been winning a lot of shit recently.
Won tons of stuff.
And
Both players on the WTC team as well.
and I would say that I won that with style. Hey, you watched the last hour of that game.
That was a fantastic game to
Yeah,
watch.
I wouldn't say I schooled him in Vlad, but it was a solid game. And I lost to Jay because he rolled a hard 9 with Iris to shoot me on a hill. But I could have positioned a couple of guys to block Iris. I could have run Statixis Raiders over there. I think I could have still done things better in that game to make that not even a possibility. So, yeah, it's a bit reflective today, hey? Because you feel like if you had a practice or done more, maybe you would have been able to get over the line.
Well,
you obviously have a different perspective because you won the Masters. You did it. You nailed
And that
it.
actually wasn't the original goal. The original
No.
goal was IG, and after I won Masters...
After you got through the finals, I was like, all right, let's fucking focus. We got a lot of dojo hacking over that thing, and when we're talking about the lists and everything,
And not to detract from you or Jay or Jason at all,
yeah,
but a couple of guys said, like,
That's more
you
prestigious.
won the main event.
yeah.
And I appreciate that. That's very nice. And I think that the IG will turn into the main event eventually.
Particularly with the format.
Maybe
We
there'll be
talked
2
about
main
it briefly.
events. Maybe there'll
The
be
escalating format is going to be really interesting.
Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep hearing different versions, and I don't know who's got the most
Well,
up-to-date rumors.
We'll find out in a
Will
week.
Schick didn't
Yeah.
tell us exactly. He just told us it was an escalating format. But I've heard that it's 50-point games from 16 players down, and the final was 75 points, and everything else is 35.
That's the most recent one I heard too. But that year, what I've heard is that so it's basically 3 lists 50-point, kind of like Masters is right now,
Yeah.
until you get to the finals table, and then you've got a caster for your 75-point slot, and you build the list with
The models that you've
with
used.
models
Yeah.
from your 350.
So is that you have 235s, 250s, and then...
No, that's what I heard was
Alright.
was
We'll
the
find
first
out.
format initially, and then they switched it to be like, okay, well, it's Masters until the final stable, basically.
I mean, that will only matter for 2 people,
Right.
but we'll find out.
I don't know. I think so long as like what they've done with Steamroller. I think so long as Privateer Press
It's constantly evolving,
keeps
tweaking it.
keeps an open mind and
Yeah.
is willing to they've been really good about listening to player feedback and trying to give the players what they want. I mean, obviously they want to differentiate themselves from Masters because that's kind of the player generated format.
Yeah.
And they definitely want something that they can call their own. But I think as long as they're willing to not
Tread on toes?
Right. Not cling to just what they've already done because it's theirs, and that I think it'll get better and better every year, just like the Steamroller rule set.
The fact that they are still really heavily behind IG and are going to make it happen, I think they have to listen.
Talking to the Privateer Press guys, we talked to Will Schick, we talked to Simon Berman, we talked to Will Hungerford, we talked to all those guys about Iron Gauntlet, and they are so passionate about making it the premier event. They want it to be the event that people strive for, and I have to say that with the media coverage, with all of the focus that
The
has been
power
out
of
there,
PP behind it.
it's going to happen eventually.
So the question is there space for both essentially Masters / War Machine weekend and then IG / Lock and Load
Absolutely,
IG
I think there's space for many major tournaments. I think they could have multiple pinnacle events, like the World Series of Poker. There's lots and lots of satellite tournaments qualifying for lots and lots of big events.
So going back to our original event, before I want to talk about something else, the list preparation, just for again.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting thing. It's now basically spot on almost to the day.
4 months to the WTC.
until the WTC.
Yep.
Do we start going hard right now? Because for me, that means playing a caster. I've just been playing hard for the last 4 months and something else.
I think we need to have a freshen up.
Or do we have like 3 weeks off or something?
I think we need to have a freshen up. We need to play something else, get our heads out of the competitive space for a while, because we're trying to. This is a hobby for us, I mean, it's a big part of my life, but I want to enjoy what I'm doing, and I had a blast this weekend. Like I was really down on myself after losing round 1 to Rickard, but I copped that one on the chin because I knew that I'd fucked up, and I'd made a lot of bad decisions in the game, and then I thought it's all right. I'm here for Sunday, and then I lose round 1 to Jay, and I was pretty down.
You were gutted.
I was pretty filthy, but I picked myself up off the dirt and kept going, and anyway managed to sneak into second, which is a bit of a backdoor move. But
yeah, that's pretty rare that you catch your one loss in round 1 and your strength of schedule
gets you to second.
Get you to
Yeah.
second.
Exactly. Well, thankfully you had Jay for 4, so you needed, essentially it worked it out that you needed another 4 from your next opponent.
well, I think I actually would have gotten there extremely easily because Jake Van dropped.
Yeah, when someone like
dropped,
Jake,
I mean, that's bankable too. He obviously lost to me, and then he lost to another guy because I was playing him. But he's got to be bankable for 2.
when Jake Van
Colin
Meter
Hill's
gives
going
you
to get 2.
1 strength of schedule, you know it's tough.
Yeah.
Like
So
that's-
I've got 4. I've got at least 8 strength of schedule, and then my other opponent in the second round, he got 1. So I should have been strength of schedule 9 at the very worst.
That's true, and you did really well to recover, especially losing both first games in both events to come back and take second.
It was good. I was happy.
You could not ask for more.
It validated all of my feelings about the weekend and made me feel like I invested all that time and energy, and it was a worthwhile effort. So, and obviously I think I would have gone home had I even come 50th in the Iron Gauntlet final and gone, you know what, James Morehouse won Lock and Load Masters. I don't give a fuck how I win. We schooled those guys.
It's good.
Like a boss. Suck my own dick like a boss.
So the other thing is, so 4 months. Let's call it 3-ish.
Yep,
We've got some good fallback options as well.
we do.
Are you what's the plan?
Well, I am obviously going to be playing Kador at the WTC. I think Vlad 3 would have to be pretty close to a lock,
That's what I was going to say.
but
He's actually a caster, not a waller.
No, a lock is
Yeah.
You Australians, I can never tell. Your voice inflections are different. You guys use a different sarcasm tone than Americans.
so I think that I might actually explore Vlad 2 because he was a strong contender for a while because he does a lot more for. The problem matchup for me was Signar. And I think that I'm going to take Butcher 3 to overseas because he's a powerhouse in the matchup process. And I think that he handles Signar well, which leaves me to put someone that pairs with him and answers his problems, which is, for mine, Crix. And I'm going to drop Vlad 2 against Crix because he's got Wind Blast, which is fucking awesome.
Especially against Caspian.
And I put Iris in the list, and the casters tend to play quite upfield, so I can potentially feed and just kill the fuckers.
Do you see Excarnate being a problem?
Excarnate's a problem for Kador in general. It doesn't matter what I play.
What you
it's a
should
problem.
do is just Loud Crescent and Toughen.
Just tough it on 5+ with Epic Irusk. What
Cool.
are you going to do? I think you should revisit Morvana and just like start from scratch.
I don't know. If I had to say right now, I'd say Kruger 2 is a lock. I just need to fiddle with a couple of different builds again. Because I'm tempted to drop the Bold Stalkers for a third heavy, but
It just changes the dynamic of the list too much, I think.
I agree. And
Because
it becomes a weaker crit
it's
strop.
very sandpapery. Like you pick out pieces you want to remove. The Wild Stalkers go in, come back. You put in a heavy Getorix or whatever. He sprints back. You don't have to climb him to get it done.
And then on a key turn, you feed.
Key
which
turn your
buys-
feet,
it's
and you get a
such
second
good
turn to
feed.
just keep grinding away, chipping away, and then before they know it, half their army's gone, and you haven't taken a casualty yet.
The problem is high armor and not being able to effectively chip away and dead scenarios. It's a couple of things like
Which
that.
is a few weaknesses.
And
like
when I say that right then, I've been thinking about this. Kaya 2 covers all that perfectly.
she does. I'm a big fan of Clyde.
I've got some good lists for her that I might play, especially now that those 2 new lessons are out. I might take a little break, play some
Pleasant Legion.
just for a couple of weeks for something different.
What are you going to play, Skip Face Ray?
Oh, I need to get off my duff and actually get into the lab with some Gorshade 3.
Yeah.
I mean the way that I want to play him. I mean he's got that really supporty type spell. I don't know, the way that I'd want to play him though requires the Death Jack, and I think Morton Abra is. I mean I play mostly 3 lists, and I think Morton Abra is just too good of a meta choice.
Totally agree.
And you know, she really needs, certainly until the Inflictor comes out, I feel like she needs the Death Jack, so that's why I've kind of been holding off on Gorshade. But want to give him a shot. Definitely want to get back to.
So do you think he needs Death Jack because you want to do like quadruple mockeries and stuff?
Because, well, I mean, yeah, for quadruple mockeries, for buff juggling. So I mean, Gorshade can just camp more with the Death Jack, and so he can be more safe further up the field, and it's that double anchor.
Yeah.
The thing I like about him is that his spell list has 0 fat, and if you have essentially 2 Scarlocks,
and they're all 2 cost.
Right.
You've got value all the way down that spell list, and
right. You're getting 1 free spell per turn out of the Death Jack, 1 free spell per turn.
2 free Scarlocks. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
My biggest, I'm really huge. I saw Gorshade come out, and I was like, he's in the top 3 casters in crits. I think he is up there. You, on the other hand, went, I hate him. He's so dumb.
No, I really wanted, he's offensive dispels. The previous 2 had offensive dispels, and that's something that Crick struggles with. I mean, Admonia dies before you get a purge off that Arcane Shield.
Yeah.
Every time. The Hag dies before she gets to stab off Arcane Shield.
Yeah.
So having Hex Blast is a huge deal for Cricks.
Yeah, agreed.
And yeah, I was just really disappointed to see that. I was hoping for a Vyros 2 stat block also. I mean, no
Nothing wrong with that.
Might be reaching. And you know, either one of those, 15th point of defense would have made me happy with Hex Blast. But you know, I'm coming around to him a lot more.
Yeah, the difference between 14 and 15 is notable when your armor's that good.
Right.
The reason why I like him so much is because he can shift gears so quickly. You can go from just going to play this long game recursion all the way through, and then all of a sudden there's an open opportunity. Caster's got 3 focus, you know, bang, feet, siphon bolt, gone.
Bolt, good game.
That's it. And it's so hard to stop. His threat range on that is astronomical.
Well, with the Scything Touch too, Scything Touch is such a good effect for so many of the units that actually I think synergize well with feet. I mean Mechanic Rolls, Soul Hunters,
Bane Knights,
and
Black Banes.
Bane Riders. I mean to say.
Yeah, Bane Riders, Satixis Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders are going to be awesome.
All this, and again the Death Jack. You know where he's got those 3 initials. You can get him to POW 20.
Seeing I played Tom Guan with Gorshade 3 in the second round of IG, and
killed his
support action.
That's called getting Tom Guan. Tom Guan.
That's called Tom Guaning Tom Guan.
Tom Guan. I think that it's really interesting watching him deploy because he's got both units of CAD, right?
That's
and
what
a
that was
Kraken,
exactly where I was
it's quite
going.
low model count, so I think there's real merit in having Morty with whatever, Gorshade 3 with a Kraken,
And armor skew.
and then a typical sort of P. Denny kind of list. I think there's real merit in that for 3 lists.
I don't know.
I
definitely like having a Kraken in the pairing. That's something else that I want to experiment with, is doing some giving Iacos a Kraken either in some P. Denny builds or some Scar 2 builds. I don't know. Infernal Machine. I came up playing a lot of Witch Covenant. Infernal Machine to Death Jack is a thing.
Yeah, strong.
Do you ever sit down with the characters from your factions? It's not really a problem for Legion or Circle, so I don't do it much.
And go, who do they go with?
So for example, I want an armor skew list, so Dara's going there, so I can't have him in those lists, so I can't have those casters.
Well,
do you have
Crix is blessed in that they have a lot of really good utilitarian units, but they do have really key character solos.
Yeah.
And some of those character solos across the lists is probably the most complex part about writing a Crix list.
You also have a lot of luxuries, though. Like Tartarus and Dara are probably the big 2. And then, but
with a Shadow Combine are essential for some casters.
For some, but you can 1 in 3 you can do
Death
that.
Jack is essential for some casters.
Death Jack,
if you've got Epic Scar and you've got Morton Ebra, they're fighting for the Death Jack like it's a fucking.
Yeah, totally agree.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, but they sort of play a similar kind of.
They do, but I think that they bring different
things. Yeah.
Different things. Like I mean, those 2 have similarities, but. Yeah, Crix lists for me were always a really delicate balancing act until I found that Scar list, and after that it was like, okay, well that can handle pretty much anything.
And you got Dara, and that's it.
And he's just taken Darek Wraith, so I can play any other characters in my other list. And it's
so my question was, when you do that, you also have some character solos like luxuries, like Gerlach.
Gerlach.
Like,
I haven't used him in a while. I want him.
Yeah, and he'll slot into a P-Scar list, a Morton Ebra list even any day.
Just slot into any list, mate.
So you've got a couple of luxuries there. I mean, and then you've got the non-characters like Pistol Wraiths and Warwitch Sirens.
Pistol Wraith, Warwitch Sirens, Blood Witches with a Blood Hag. I don't write a quick list without that 6-point unit. The Blood Witches will do so much in a game. Even just things like creating clouds by stabbing their mates in the back. Like just running up, getting a cloud wall for you. You can do a cloud wall.
Didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
I never consider their little abilities.
Yeah, you go run, first 3 chicks in a line, back 3 chicks charge, create 3 clouds. You've got 3 incorporeal Blood Witches and the Blood Hag behind the cloud wall, and you can put all your key followers.
That's awesome. I didn't even.
Yeah, I've done that on a number of occasions.
But they don't give gang. They're like, these are friends, so we don't really want to kill them that bad.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah, I don't know. We've got a lot of list things to think
Yeah,
about.
we've got a lot of stuff
24
to talk
hours on a
about.
plane to think about it.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot on a plane, so it might be time for us to go.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Scott.
Good seeing you, man.
It's been a real pleasure to meet
Awesome
you.
hanging out with you
Yeah,
guys.
you're a legend. Thanks very much for coming on here and hanging out with us today. And
A bit of a
Being a mad
sad-
dog.
sad day, kind of.
yeah, it's bittersweet day. Thank you everyone for following at home. We're gonna do one more video at the airport, and then when we touch down. But that's going to be it for this lock and load journey and potentially Doge's breakfast. So
But WTC's next.
WTC is next, and that's going to be part of our Team Muse coverage. So look forward to that.
Your team use.
Team Muse. Team Muse won nearly every single tournament at that on the weekend. It was awesome. Drop bear. Wale, the champion. Hashtag Moose Magic.
Hashtag vintage. Hashtag Hayden's got dibs.
Hashtag Hayden called dibs.
Hashtag Southie told us a story once.
Hashtag Southie getting married to Wargaming Girl. We fly back to LAX in about an hour.
About an hour.
That's our plane over there. I'm ready to go home.
This is my sad face.
I'm ready.
It's known as the Jay Larson.
It's a Jay Larson. No, that's known as a Jay Larson happy face.
Goodbye. Hello. Trent, where are we right now?
We're on a little thing. Just pick us up and drive us to the airport.
Guys, get out of the way. We're coming. We're coming. We just won an event. Let's go.
This is actually part of the trip. When James won the Masters and I came second, they actually arranged this for us. So the guy at the Lego store called ahead and told them.
Classic. See you later, lady.
It would have been a long walk, but wasn't it?
Excuse me, family. Get out of the way, dude. War Machine Superstars coming through. That guy gave us a greasy. Is this Mad Jelly of our tech? Mad Jelly.
Take us to the autonomy.
Oh, good turn.
Strong form. Hello everyone. All of you Doge's breakfast fans. James and I are at the LAX International Airport, preparing to board our flight home to Australia. We're very excited to come home. It's been a long trip in the sense that we have had a lot of things crammed into a very short space of time.
6 days.
It has been whirlwind in every sense of the word,
It blows my mind that we will be arriving in Brisbane on Wednesday morning.
which is less than 1 week.
Yeah, 3 hours less than a week.
So, and we've crammed a lot of shit in there. But I just thought that we would take a little moment now to reflect on some thoughts about the American meta. And apologies if the audio is not great here. We are sitting in the airport at the food court. It's quite packed. Hopefully you can hear us okay. What did you think of the American players and their play style and just generally their demeanour and attitude towards the game?
So generally, one of the things was you've got to remember we were at a convention of maybe 1,500 players.
Indeed.
Maybe 1,200. Indeed. Now let's rate the players.
Excellent.
And the majority of them, 80% of them, were playing Iron Arena. So the tournaments, even though they're 128 player tournaments with 100 on the waiting list,
Made up a small portion of the people that were playing on the weekend.
80-odd%.
Which is astronomically mind-boggling for me. Like,
CanCon is 150 players.
CanCon gets 150 unique players. That tournament, that convention had at least 1,500.
And obviously they have, 15 times the population of us, but that's something you've got to bear in mind. And I didn't play any Iron Arena because we're playing the tournaments the whole time. But
Adam Southwell actually managed to score a game with Wargamer Girl, which is pretty awesome. Apparently he proposed to her during the game, and she respectfully declined.
And her boyfriend thoroughly declined. So
yeah.
That was nice.
But we got a footage of Southie playing a 600-point game or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, 4 players and 150 points. So I think they're having a lot of fun down there, just playing, and
just
that's
being
what
in the atmosphere.
The majority of them do.
And it was kind of weird because the Masters was actually upstairs. You probably would have seen the footage of me going up the escalators to get there. And the Masters was in this fairly big room, but it was just the tournament sort of running in there. And, we all felt like we were the most important thing that was happening.
But really,
and you walk downstairs and it's a giant convention room with War Machine tactics and people collecting prizes from the Iron Arena. And
I'm not joking when I say there was probably 150 tables, War Machine tables, and then of that, I probably saw about 30 that were deluxe, as in
like primo quality tables,
like a full-on, like you could put that on display in a shop, not just a table. Like it's a full-on display thing. So that's one thing that you got to bear in mind is that a lot of them are there for fun, and then there's other rooms of the P3 painting room, the shop, high command room, Kingmaker rooms, observation rooms, and then the tournament rooms.
I don't know that we told you this, but they actually converted the high command room on the final day to be an Iron Gauntlet viewing room. So they had people in that room eating their lunch, like smashing down some pizzas and watching the guys play in the Iron Gauntlet, which is just awesome.
Did you see the room?
No, I didn't see the room, but a couple of guys told me that the vibe was just electric in the room. Like there were people on the edge of their seat, like screaming at the television, like they were watching a game of Gridiron or something.
And I mean, you probably just saw in an earlier video the guy in the Lego shop.
Yeah, the guy in the Lego shop was watching the game at home. Was it on television? He was at home. Yeah,
he was watching on Twitch.
Yeah, on Twitch.
Yeah.
He was watching on Twitch at his house with his mates.
It makes me wonder.
And we walk into the Lego shop the next day, and there he is, and goes, "Oh, hey guys, you guys are fucking awesome."
Yeah. It makes me wonder how many people there were involved in that day of War Machine. Whether it was they were Jay Larson playing in the final, or just some random on the other side of the country watching Twitch TV. Like
watershed moment for War Machine.
I hope so.
It could blow up from here.
Could be. The feedback's been immense. So.
I really want to do some footage of Australian games and get our meta a little bit more broadened. But let's focus back in on the point.
So the point is that the majority of people playing Iron Arena, not to say that it's all casual, but win or lose, Iron Arena that's not the goal of Iron Arena.
It's to have fun.
However, from the tournament perspective, which I think probably doesn't speak for Iron Arena though,
Andrew and Southie will be able to give you some feedback on the Iron Arena, and hopefully they'll get in and do some posts about their experience, which is really cool. And it was awesome having those guys there. Like Andrew Hayden got his own hashtag. It was called Haydo called dibs, because he called dibs on every waitress that was there, and he was a fucking monster. Not to mention the fact that he
may have pulled them better than you did.
He did, certainly did. He had about 3 hours sleep across the entire weekend. And then Southie's just marrying Wargamer Girl and stuff, and I married J-Law, but actually, where is she? Is she here yet? She said she'd meet us at the airport.
So, to go back to the question for 1 second.
I love you, J-Law.
So, tournament players. Firstly, I did not meet a single bad person.
Every one of them was genuinely nice people.
Probably once
really
or twice,
lovely to talk to.
Once or twice a year, you have a game where you're like, look, I never want to play you again. And it's a horrible experience. I was playing in the semi-final against Lucas of Masters, and I made a horrid mistake. of not shifting one of my stones up to. You might have read about it. Anyway, caused a beast of frenzy next turn. Really bad mistake, and what I did, I shifted him with the wrong unit, so I essentially activated 2 units at once, and I said, look, if you're okay with that, I'll just move. Whatever I've moved, and whatever I've left behind, I've forgotten.
Yep.
And he said, yeah, no worries. And then he held himself to that standard, which cost him the game.
Correct.
Also, it could have cost me the game, then it cost him the game, and then
I found that, as a general rule, most of them play in a fairly casual fashion, which is to say that they don't mind if you have a little take back here or there. I was very clear at the start of every game that I would not be accepting that sort of behaviour, that I wanted both of us to be holding ourselves to the same standard that James and I demonstrated all weekend. We played to the best possible standard that we could, and I'm very proud of how both of us held ourselves in that regard.
definitely. That's actually a highlight for me.
Yeah, but it was interesting watching some of my opponents deal with that because they weren't really used to it. And one guy in particular, my second round opponent in the Iron Gauntlet, Chris, he actually probably made a few mistakes that if he was playing against anyone else, he might have been let slide. But I was very clear at the start of the game how I expected it to be played, and yeah, he just copped it on the chin. And to be honest, he was a lovely guy, and came up to us after every game, was just, you know, super excited to hear about how we were going. And
he was incredibly nice.
yeah, he was a lovely guy. But they all were. Like
They are all likable people.
You know,
even the ones I won't name that do have a bad reputation.
Some of them have a bit of a
there's
reputation.
3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
I encountered 2 or 3 of them.
they were all great guys, like
great.
super guys, just really awesome. So,
Like not a single bad person, and I think that is also a little bit testament to when you're playing at the top level of the game, and they mentioned this in the stream, that you can enjoy those games a little bit more as well when you're playing against someone of an even skill who has the same expectations.
yeah, I found my best games have always been at that upper echelon of players who hold themselves to high standards and everything is clear, and the game comes down to a pure skill-based environment. That to me is the best games I've ever had. I can think of quite a few of them. I would say that as a general rule, I do not think any of the best American players are any better than any of the best Australian players. In fact, I would think that you would be
If you took the top 10 from both countries,
I think you would probably find that Australia maybe even had the edge.
maybe. If you took the top 10 from it would be no more than 55-45 one way, I think.
I mean, I played Jake Van Meter, and it was a great game. And he himself on this footage said that I basically bitch slapped him, which
He's the Messiah. He's a god over there.
I take a fair bit of credit for that. The scenario certainly benefited me, but I think that I played to the scenario, and I played the game as the table state laid, and so that was should have been the expected result. You know, like I played better to the conditions than he did.
Listening to the start of your game, I thought you were going to go downhill.
This is the thing. I was so far behind before I'd even had a turn. I'd lost 5 to Texas Raiders before I had a go, and I still came back and just obliterated him. So that was really interesting.
So speaking of players of the American scene as well, I find that interesting. That at that top level of play, a Ravicor scatter on the top of turn 1, 6 to the 1. Is actually something that you'll take because it's a 1 in 36. But if you can get a 5-point edge on your opponent before it even begins,
huge.
And that was a problem I had with Epic Bale as well.
You played a number of sort of big name players from the States. You played Ryan Chiriboga, you played Mike Puryear, both WTC level players.
Yep. Lucas, who's on the
Canadian WTC team,
who, if he's one of their best players, absolutely no
disrespect to him. Yeah,
but I think we are.
I think we're stronger than. Like I was watching all of those games, all 3 of those games, and James was a superior player in nearly every aspect in all 3 of those games.
Danny
Modesto, another WTC player. James beat him as well. So, like it was a bit eye-opening because I was expecting us to go over there and maybe even get found out. Like maybe get found out in that environment. But a lot of people told us that wouldn't be the case. But you always expect, you know, like you can never really gauge just how good you are until you get into the situation where you're put under pressure.
Exactly.
And
The pressure did walk people there.
it was interesting because you and I have both played at really high levels. You know, the OETC a few years ago, we've both played at, you know, a number of Masters tournaments and whatever, and a lot of finals. And like, I don't think either of us felt any pressure. I think our mistakes were just not brought on by pressure, just brought on by fatigue, concentration. Yeah, like there was no pressure on James or I. We both played just the same. Cole's got an order.
Paul, actually.
Paul
has an order. His rather
Get some coffee. Yeah, but it was just a really interesting experience, I think, to play in that environment and to know that we can match it with those guys. And I mean, I was a couple of dice rolls away from beating Jay,
world champion.
and looking at the run that Jay had, assuming I continued on the same path as he did, I feel fairly confident that I could have got the job done. The final round is Syntherian versus P-Scar, not good for him. The third round is who did Jay play?
You're playing Brandon Kading.
Colin Hill. I beat Colin Hill. In the fourth round.
Jay, sorry.
Yeah, I'm sort of following Jay's path.
Yeah.
And in the second round, I played Keith Christensen with my Vlad list that I've designed to beat Gatsby. So it's certainly not written in stone, but at least I would have been able to do it.
The key thing there is, I played against 5 WTC players. You played against a similar amount.
Colin, well, Jay. I think Jay would probably be at that level.
Let's
Yeah.
count.
And Ricard and Jake Van Meter. So I played 4.
Yeah. And we were solid in all of them.
Yep. Except for my game against Ricard, I played like a dickhead.
I won't count mine against Keith because A, I took the 80%-ish and fell short, and B, he was playing trolls, so we won't count that one.
Yep. But it was, I just am reflecting on it and just feeling like it was a really interesting experience, you know? Really proud of how we went. I just posted on Facebook that it's a bit bittersweet because, you know, coming second at this sort of tournament, the second best player in the world is awesome, but you just lament what could have been.
It's the best after what happened in round 1, and you do lament that, but
yeah,
it's a dice game.
And you take down the Masters, the 128 player tournament that was, as quoted by Michael Chuddy Winter, the hardest Masters field he'd ever seen in any tournament.
So
you take it down.
So potentially have won the hardest American tournament.
The only player who was not there was Will Pagani of
That's the big one. That was Chuck Ellsworth.
Chuck as well. Sorry, Chuck, if you ever watch this. I think you're a
And
great
a
bloke.
couple of other ones as well. Like,
Yeah,
like
I mean-
they could have had a 256 player Masters.
That would have been fucking cool, hey? So plans for...
Did we answer the original question? What do we think of their meta? I
It's great.
think that we can compete. I think that it is an incredible scene, and
I'd love to be more...
I'm not
part of it.
I'm not jealous because we don't have a great scene. I'm jealous because they have a fucking incredible
They
scene.
have an incredible scene. I would love to be a part of it.
In all aspects, in the top level competitiveness, in the socialising. That's one thing I wish we could have more of the sort of casual play for everyone who wants to play, because a lot of people are intimidated by tournaments.
Yeah, I could see us conceivably coming back to a few tournaments. Maybe not this year, although maybe launching weekend is a possibility for James. We won the ticket to that event, so we don't know. Let's not
Give myself 5% right now.
Yeah, I would think if you give yourself 1%, you're being generous. But look, we'll see what happens on that front. But I would love to be a part of it next year. I would love to go to a
Lock and load.
Lock and Load next year. Yeah,
Everyone should experience it.
it's incredible. It's
If
a
you do
great
not,
weekend.
if you aren't in love with the game after that weekend as well,
Yeah.
holy.
I think James and I both expected to come back maybe a little bit burnt out. I am just so psyched up to get
I'm writing new lists.
into new lists. We're both on the plane talking about lists and talking about new models that released and just fired up for it. So
The final thing I wanted to talk about as well was the top level play. So let's just say IG is the hardest tournament in the world in terms of solo. WTC obviously being the pinnacle of teams, but
Yep.
which is also a bit solo. But if that's the highest tournament in the world, I found myself throughout my 11 games assessing the situation on the top of 2 or the top of 3 and going, do I want to play the long game, which generally speaking
Doesn't
for
favour me.
Circle is no. Do I want to play the long game? Do I want to try and play a different scenario game, or do I want to go for a kill? And saying, okay, this is 60, this is 50, this is 65, I'm going with the 65.
Which is a kill.
And do you think that that's basically the way to do it?
Well,
Or should you try and...
I've said in many episodes of this vidcast that one of the hallmarks of a great player is the ability to recognise when you do not have the ability to win the game by any route other than assassination, and to take that opportunity as best as it is.
Unless... As
an example, in my game with Jay Larson, he had no possibility of winning on scenario. He had no possibility of winning by attrition because... What's magic? We're nearly home. We've got about an hour to go. Slept pretty well on this flight, so it's good. Just saying, we slept pretty well.
It's actually awesome.
Yeah.
So 2 hours left, hour and a half left of a 13-hour flight. I think I slept for 8 or 9 hours. So
Should be good.
having the free seats just been
Worked out well.
lifesaver.
And we're going to meet Simon Hall for some breakfast when we get
Simon Gable, Nipples.
Nipples.
Nipples, yeah.
We're going to meet Nipples.
Okay. Because I thought you were talking about him. Back to reality. Ooh, there goes gravity.
Oh, goes gravity. What? So gravity. Don't give up, daddy.
Mum spaghetti on his nervous. His mum spaghetti. Yeah, I like mum spaghetti.
It's good to be back in Brisbane. I love this
Bit
place.
sad.
Bit sad. Very sad. Hashtag who's magic? Hashtag Hato calls dibs. Hato calls dibs. Brisbane, baby. Good times. Classic hits. 4KQ.
It's funny coming from summer back to winter.
And it's still been the same degrees.
It's still in the same temperature. I have to go to Canberra.
We've got Sir Walter down there. He's doing a good job. It's a big target that he just hit.
It's hard to miss.
Hard to miss.
It would have actually been disappointing if he didn't hit it.
That was a sensational flight, wasn't it?
That was awesome.
We just hit the jackpot. We had a spare seat in the group of 3, and we could just sleep and just mint.
So it's 7 a.m. We've probably been up since the equivalent of about 4 a.m. But
Feel good.
that was good.
Today should be a fairly easy breeze through to about 8 or 9 o'clock, and then sleep, and hopefully we're all back to normal in a couple of days. Good success, mate.
Well done.
We've got one more film with Simon Nipples Hall who's coming over to say g'day, and that'll be it for the Doge's Breakfast America trip. Bit
For the
disappointing.
America leg.
Bit disappointing, isn't it?
End of an era.
End of an era. 4 months of planning, all done.